Hello everyone, here's E and I'm from the creative media from Hong Kong City University, and also I was studying in the AVO in Prague as an intermediate 3 student. So here is my new project, and it is an illustration book. I already finished all of them, but here is the presentation, so I'm gonna illustrate what is going on of my work. So as a quick briefing, and this story is about the main character Nova is living in a digital world, which is not allow normal citizen to have physical body. Nova was trying to make himself a body, but his brain was killed by the mystery doctor. After that, he successfully got into the utopia. In this world, everyone should believe in the Almighty Prophet. He just realized that all the universe are experiments of the utopia. Utopia will chose the most successful experiments as their world setting. However, Nova coincidentally destroyed the setting of utopia and was sent to the Almighty Prophet. At the end of the story, the Almighty Prophet finally shows the real world to Nova and reveals the real world has already destroyed by human beings. All of the universe, including digital world or utopia, are all the coding in the lab, which is the only remaining thing of human being. So also the lab is on the top of the pyramids in Egypt. The real image of the Almighty Prophet is an old lady. She begs Nova to protect the world in the computer. However, Nova said nothing to her but tried to find out what's happening outside. What he saw was the Earth having a new species already. Yeah, here is the very quick briefing of the story, but actually the story is quite complicated. If you want to know more, you can keep watching this video. So, like the first universe that what we call is the digital world, there are several settings. The first setting is that humans are not allowed to have their physical body except for the doctor or the politician. And the second rule is that everyone, they always want to have a physical body, so they would provide some creative idea to the government so as to change for a real body, because they would like to be a politician or a scientist. So actually the second rule is that everyone wants to be that kind of job. And the third rule is that they could connect their body to the robot so as to let the robot to finish something that they're not able to do only by their brain. So, for example, like having sex or having exercise, sports, something, and they were not able to do that by their own brain. So here's the third rule. And yeah, the number 4 rule is that the government will make some illusion to the people, and especially when they're dreaming, when they're sleeping, so the government will input some fantasy dream into their brain, and then they could dream about maybe they will have family, they will have friends, and they will have a happy life. But these kind of things are not exist. Why they only have their brain but not a physical body is because of this world doesn't have enough sources to the human. So the government can only allow the few people to have a physical body because they want to save the energy, save the sources, something. So here the setting of the digital world. And Nova is super special is because he's not able to dream about the fantasy thing. He can only dream about the sorrow, and maybe that is related to the war, even though he never saw any kind of war in the digital world. Yeah, and this is the first specialness of Nova, and the second specialness is that Nova is born to be a hacker. Nova is born to know coding. It's not born to know computing, coding, something like that. And actually, this kind of things are not allowed in the digital world. However, he just born to know it. So he used this coding to protect himself. Otherwise, the government would treat him as a kind of danger because he might destroy the setting of the digital world. So here the setting of Nova. And for the utopia setting is more special because in this world, there's no gender. Yeah, by the way, Nova has no gender because he's just a brain. And for the setting in utopia is that the specialness is there's no gender. So here is the gender equality. By the way, there is no any different kind of skin color in the Utopia. All of the people are having the blue skin, and you can say, okay, it's Avanda, anyway. And then if they have the same color, skin color, and there is no racism. One thing is really important in this story is that everyone believes in God. So how to make everyone believes in God is to let them see the real God. And yeah, I would call the God's name as the Almighty Prophet. And actually, the Almighty Prophet will not disturb your normal life if you don't against her. How could Nova just destroy the coding of the Utopia? It's because he tried to connect himself to the computer of Utopia. Because of the outlook of the experiments, I just make them looks like some television. And so just Nova tried to connect himself to the television. He can see that what something that he dreamed about before is happens in another universe. Yeah, so unfortunately, when Nova saw that there is something happens that really bad happens in another universe, he just feels like the gods has no mercy to all the human beings, to all the species, and then he just feels like it's super unfair compared to the Utopia. Then he just tried himself to destroy the whole universe. Now I'm going to talk about where does this idea come from. Actually, I made this story in Hong Kong before my exchange period. So because before my exchange, I just feel my life is super negative and maybe a little bit unhappy in Hong Kong. So sometimes I just have to make some story and just to release my pressure. And when I was living in the Europe area, I can saw a lot of architecture is related to the Catholicism, and which give me a lot of inspiration. Also, how does progress and the challenge? At the first beginning, I was trying to use the super big, the Wacom drawing board. I'm not really able to use that kind of tools to finish the whole drawing because everything are too complicated and I'm not able to bring it everywhere. So at the end, I just chose to use an iPad to finish my drawing. One of the benefits is that even though I was in the traveling, I can still use my iPad. After I finished the whole illustration book, I was trying to add some dialogue. I was thinking about how to use a dialogue to explain the whole story. But at the end, when I trying to add that, I feel like I don't want to make it. I want to make the dialogue as more like a communication between the Nova and the Almighty Prophet. When I was trying to design role, probably wondering why Nova. He just born to be good at coding. I will skip this part and I'm gonna start at the Almighty Prophet first. Almighty Prophet, she's a woman, and in my story setting, she's a scientist, and her husband, he's a programmer, and before the end of the world, they just create a laboratory on the top of the pyramids in Egypt. And they made this laboratory, they make this kind of experiments, they just save what is happening around the world into the computer, and they having their own role in different role, just like for the woman, for the Almighty Prophet, she is a god in the Utopia, and for her husband has some role in the Utopia also. It's not being told in this illustration book. In my story setting is that the Almighty Prophet killed her husband because she needs the food, she needs the sources and the water. If there were two people surviving together, probably they could only continue the computer for 50 years. And Almighty Prophet, she killed her husband is because she just gets all the nourishment from her husband so as to maintain her life. In this story, I just write a really long sentence, a really long paragraph, is about what Almighty Prophet told to Nova. The Almighty Prophet said, I sacrifice my love, my happiness, my life for the continuation of human civilization. You may say that I'm not a real God, I have no mercy to all the universe, to all the species. But do you think that the real God has the kindness to the real earth, to the real human beings? I already did everything that I should do. You cannot blame on me. The war, the hate, the sorrow are not created by me. It's just what human being will have. You are all created by my image, but remember, I was created by the God's image. It's true that she sacrificed a lot. Maybe you called her she's so selfish that she just killed her husband to maintain her life, but I would not think about it. Staying in this small room and lonely forever is a kind of torture. She knows that already, but she still chose to do that. It's because she wants to save the experiments that she made with her husband. She wants to save everything. She sacrificed a lot. And because of saving the energy, saving the food, she make herself like the vegetable human, and she just always lying on the bed, she never moves. And she just used her brain to connect to the computer to make everything keep moving on. Yeah, change back to Nova. Why Nova is born to know what is coding is because when the Almighty Prophet and her husband, they having the brawl in the world in the computer, they are both kind of coding in the computer. So after the prophet killed her husband's coding just still left in the computer. The coding just get into Nova's body, to Nova's brain, and that's why Nova can think like her husband. And at the end, here is the title of the book. The name of the book is called The Temple. It's because Almighty Prophet is the god of the temple, and then she has the right to control everything. And so that's why I would say this story just happens in the temple. The utopia or the digital world, they are only the part of the temple. So here's the whole story. Thank you so much. I think this explanation is more makes the whole story more clear. I hope so. If you still have any kind of question, you can just use Instagram or use email to text me something, and you can get more information about this story. And by the way, I'm gonna say, because I want to continue my artwork, so probably in the future I'm gonna write a story. It's just about the temple, and of course this story is by Chinese, and and yeah, and in this story I'm gonna make everything more clear, and if you like I can send you the text, and also I can send you the PDF of my illustration book. So thank you so much for listening. Bye.